We're rolling. We got another edition of your favorite and mine. Less Kevin, more tech, UTECIT.com. And
Here we are.
Man,
We're international.
We're international. Yeah, global.
Global.
So, how do we introduce this next guest?
Accomplished world traveler.
Yeah,
Caring member of the community.
because I said if we had the Danish here, I know Keith Santo would fall off the couch right now, getting all excited, thinking he was getting a big cream pastry right now. So, Keith Santo is one of our 1926 listeners we have right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are we at, 23?
We're not over 20 yet.
Are we? We're
I
still
don't
under
know.
20. But him and his two daughters listen all the time.
That's impressive.
Yeah, they write in. They call in all the time. We never put them on there.
Yeah.
Sounds like a shame.
Christina, we're taking all your good time.
Yes.
It's okay.
Talking about nothing here.
Christine.
So,
Tell
Hi.
us who you are and what you're doing.
Well, my name is Christine. I am the executive director at SafeHouse. I am from Denmark, so I am Danish. And I appreciate you all having me here. Thank you.
so you have been, I bought the company in '08, and I think that we started doing business with you. You might have been one of our very first customers, I think. We started doing business. I can't remember. Maybe you were already an existing customer, but I remember we were upgrading at the time or got you something new. But phenomenal organization. Been with us a long time and watch you guys do all your work. And, Ellie's Place, I'm partial to them. I want to give them a shout out. We got Chad Tuff. We got a lot of good things, but I think you guys serve an unbelievable mission to the community. And, impacting lives like that right now. Sometimes the medical stuff takes a while or something. You guys make a change overnight, don't you?
I would like to think we do. And you do mention a lot of great places. I think we're in great company in Washtenaw County. And yes, SafeHouse has been here. We've been in existence since the 1970s. We've been in our current location since the 1990s. And I think our mission from day one has just been to serve our community, make sure that survivors of intimate partner violence and sexual assault are heard, that they know that they matter, and that the community supports them. And that is our mission.
Again, it's something that if somebody's dealing with that, they can stop it today, right? They can call you, and they can. It's over with today, right?
Well, yes.
Because you're going to protect them.
We will do
You're
our
gonna give them
best.
resources.
We will give them
Yeah.
resources. We're here to advocate. We're here to provide resources. They can call us. They can walk in. Our lobby is open every single day, Monday through Friday from 9 to 4. We have a 24-hour helpline, and if I may, I will shout out that
Yeah.
number.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
734-995-5444. All of our services are free. They're confidential. You don't even have to give us your name when you show up. If you just want to come in and have a chat, talk about what's going on, and see how can we be helpful, that's what we're here for.
Say that number again.
734-995-5444.
Bam.
How did you personally get involved? Because you're Danish, right? So give us a little bit of history on that.
So I grew up in Denmark, and I happened to meet my husband, or my to-be husband later, and I followed him to England. So if you detect a weird accent, that's where that comes from.
From him or England?
Probably a little bit of both.
So I thought it was from Georgia earlier or South
Yeah.
Carolina. But
I have to be honest. I usually get Australian, not so
Oh,
much,
okay.
not so much the Southern American states. So that
see.
one was interesting, but I appreciate it. But yeah, so I grew up there, and then I went to England. Spent about 7 years living in North England, Manchester, with my husband. And at that point, we decided his company wanted to, venture over to America, and we said, why not? So that led us to Washtenaw County, and the work that I'd been doing in England was social services. It was community-based. I worked with asylum seekers and refugees. And when I came to this community, I really wanted to continue to be of service to the community. As you know, sometimes it takes a minute to get settled, but pretty soon...
especially when you're moving across the pond.
Exactly. And, there's visas and things that had to be sorted out as well, but...
Not anymore.
Not, well, I can't speak to that. I know what my experience was, but yeah. So we landed here, and I kind of tried to get a good feel. I mean, Ann Arbor, Washtenaw County is amazing
Yes.
community. There's so
Yes.
many different people here, such a diversity of cultures, backgrounds, languages. So we felt really at home. And it was important to me to return to my community service work. And that's how I found SafeHouse. Did a little bit of Googling, and here we are.
Isn't that the coolest thing? Because you could have picked anywhere. We were talking earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you guys kind of went, bam, right here, you know,
Yep.
and you picked Michigan, Ann Arbor,
Yeah.
Washtenaw County. But as you get into it, isn't it really kind of cool how diverse it is and how many different
Yes.
people, you know, nationalities, thought processes, all
Culture,
that stuff,
food.
culture,
It's a good,
food. Yeah,
incredible community.
Especially considering the size of it as well.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I have to be honest, I'm not a big city girl. I enjoyed living in Manchester, which is a big city in England. Ann Arbor is much smaller, but it still offers so much. And I know we have Detroit just down the street as well.
Well, if you
and
talk to the
Chicago.
folks here, they think Manchester is a big city.
That's true, isn't it? That was another thing we had to get used to. Manchester, Chelsea. It was like being at home, honestly. Slightly different, but
Slightly.
just a little bit. But it's
The same,
Couldn't
but
find the
different.
fish and chips, could you?
no, still. Well, I shouldn't say this. I was going to say we're still looking for some good places, but there's a lot of good places around here that do a decent job
Yes.
with their fish and
I
chips.
tell you what, we had a guy that could make it happen in here the other day, and that was Elf Morgan over at Zingerman's Roadhouse. I mean Zingerman's. So
Yes.
you tell him, and he'll get that on the menu down there at the Roadhouse.
They do a really good job. And thank you for mentioning Singerman's is a great location. We actually just did a benefit dinner with them this week. They're huge supporters of SafeHouse. We're huge supporters of them.
Yeah.
And again, I think they really embody a lot of what we see
Absolutely.
that's good in our community.
That's how we
here.
make our living. We name drop stuff, and we get a nickel for every time we name drop a Washtenaw-based company.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. No, they're like yourselves. You know, they want to live, they want to work in a really good community. And it's that kind of give back that makes it work.
Absolutely. I mean, and I think I would like to think that myself, the staff at SafeHouse, we're embodying that mission of community work, community giving, community service. That's what it's all about. And I think we're in good company. You mentioned other good places.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's got to be hard for you in some ways, though, right? Because there's a certain expectation of confidentiality and privacy that has to go with what you guys do every day. But yet, you still got to get the word out there of all the amazing things you could do. What might be some misconceptions of SafeHouse or things that we don't think about that happen every day that are good?
I think one of the biggest misconceptions is who we serve. I think, yes, domestic violence and sexual assault historically has been seen as a very gendered crime. It's, definitely impacts women or female-identified survivors more than it does male survivors. But that doesn't mean that male survivors don't exist. And we have to make sure that we're inclusive when we talk about domestic violence and sexual assault because it impacts everybody. And so I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions about our services is that we're closed off to male survivors because we are not. It doesn't matter who you are, how you identify. If you are a survivor of intimate partner violence or sexual assault, we are the agency for you. We're going to be working with you to support you and help you as you figure out what your next steps are. And then I think the other misconception that we sometimes have to work against is we're more than just a shelter. We started out as a shelter back in the 70s, but we've grown over the years. We also are a dual program. It's not just intimate partner violence, domestic violence. It's also sexual violence and sexual assaults in general. So I think for people to have a good understanding of the broadness of who we serve and how we serve them is important, and that you don't have to live in our shelter in order to qualify for services.
So, Christine, you made this migration, right? So just personal side, did you immigrate? Are you U.S. citizen, dual citizen?
I'm very proud to be a dual citizen.
Dual citizenship,
And that was something that was very important to my husband and I, especially as we decided to stay. We want to make sure that we can be a productive and engaged community member.
Right.
And I think being part of the voices, being part of, I know it's an election year, being part of, working for change, I think is important. So no, we became dual citizens in 2016.
Okay, so you went through the process, and earlier.
Let's ask that. You talked about elections coming up and engagement, stuff like that. For somebody that's coming over to here, we've got we can make comments at any one time about our political system, but we do have a good political system. Does it bother you to see people not engaged? Am I going out and voting and taking the time to look at issues and study and stuff like that?
I think it's complicated because I think there's a lot of reasons why people may choose not to engage or can't engage. And I think, there's a lot of systems that are put in place that can be barriers for people. It could be something as simple as transportation. But it could also be, things that have happened in their past. So I think I would like to see a community where everybody can participate. I don't know what that's going to necessarily look like because I think there are barriers out there that are self-prescribed and certainly also prescribed by systems that are in place currently.
But this came up, we were voting in primaries recently, and my daughter, is the first time she could vote, and Carol said, well, there's really nothing to vote on. You know what I mean? Like,
Right, yeah.
I said, well, no, you got to go do it. That's your obligation to show up. There's people that come in that work in the, volunteers that work at the voting precincts, and they're going to take the time to come there. We all need to take the time. So, that's my little rant.
But it used to be, you don't hear it too often, but it used to be like, hey, if you don't vote, you can't complain. It's real simple. Participate or don't, but you participate, you got to say.
I think it's important that all voices are heard. I think it's important that we express our voices. And I think that's what we try to do, in our work. We try to uplift the voices that maybe can't find their way into certain spaces. Like I'm sitting here. I'm able to speak to your listeners about what it is that we see every single day that are the challenges of survivors. I take that, that's a privilege. And that's why we do the work that we do. And so I think that goes back to, yes, how do we keep the community engaged? How do we become engaged in our community? I think that's really important.
Okay, well, here's our chance to get all these politicians. Do you think they've done a nice job supporting you, or is there more we can do politically?
I think there's always room for growth.
Okay.
I mean, I think our funding gets cut every single year. We get money from the federal dollars, and then for the first time ever last year, the state of Michigan also allocated money to us in their general budget, which we are extremely grateful for, but it's not enough. And I don't mean to sit here and say, money's always going to be an issue. We try to be very responsible. We try to be very resourceful with the financial landscape that we find ourselves in, but it is tough. And it's not just us. I think the community is seeing that as a large. So I think there's always more, and it's not just also about the finances. It's also, what laws can we put in place to protect people? How do we hold, batterers and assailants accountable? How do we show survivors that what happens to them is not okay? And as a community, we take action.
I ask that question because I think it's important that everybody's got a cause and they want money to go to. But I see the impact, and I've been close to it, and I've known people that are in your leadership. Jim Phelps used to do the books for the. I don't know if he still does or not, but
he's still part of it. Yes.
Yeah, but he takes that thing so seriously about how the money's spent, where it's spent on that. I think you guys do a phenomenal job. If we give you $1, making sure that as much of that dollar can go to support as possible.
That's exactly it. We're proud of the fact that we prioritize providing services. And so the money that we raise, the money that we receive, that's what it goes to pay for our staff, so that staff can be in front of survivors, so that survivors are not alone.
So can you tell us a little bit about your breakfast fundraiser? When is it?
Yes, thank you. It is happening on April the 10th. It starts at 8 a.m. and it is located at the Washtenaw Golf Club. More information can be found on our website. It's going to be hosted at the Washtenaw County Golf Club. It's our annual opportunity to gather community partners, community members who are interested to know more about our cause, to hear what it is that we're doing, and then obviously to support us. That is a very crucial event for us. And so if people are interested in showing up. Tickets are available on our website. We're also looking for sponsors. Please show up. Show the survivors in our community that they matter.
Do you have Joe Green registered to flip pancakes?
Yes. Now, wouldn't that be something? And thank you to you all. You are proud sponsors of our breakfast, and we greatly appreciate it.
Oh, good.
So that the breakfast's been going on for a while.
Yes, for years.
Yes.
It's kind of our core signature fundraising event, and we're very proud of it because, like I said, it just gives us an opportunity to kind of showcase what it is that we've been working on.
And this is the main. This is the big.
It is,
Right.
yeah.
Any plans for additional or?
We're always looking for ways in which to collaborate with other community members to do third-party events. We do also have a couple of runs. We do a couple of 5Ks in October
Very nice.
to support survivors in this community. We collaborate with Men and Women Working for Change out of IFSI, and then we also do the Purple Run, which is a collaboration with the Washtenaw County Prosecutor's Office, the University of Michigan Department of Public Safety,
Really?
as well as the Ann Arbor Police.
Wow.
So we do get a lot of great support.
And these are physical 5Ks?
Yes, I mean, you can walk it.
Well, I was thinking more of a virtual one. Yeah.
Not quite.
See, he asked that. That was a leading question because he's hoping you'll go over there and leverage the folks at Wolverine to get a pickleball tournament going
That's
or something
true.
like that.
Oh, yeah, the pickleball. I mean, that's not a bad idea. I like the idea. I mean, it's with the times, isn't it? Everybody's playing it these days.
Unbelievable.
Well, I will say if somebody wants to host a pickleball in our honor, we would love it.
I think we should put that in the to-do list.
Well, let's get Christina marketing. Let's get her on it.
Yeah, absolutely. She is here. All right. That's great.
She'll have to hobble
Would you
over
get
there.
behind it?
Absolutely. I will admit I've never played,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know if I could show up and not embarrass myself, but
So then you can play, get a partner and play against us then.
oh, goodness.
we need every help.
We will
we
make
would
sure
get.
you don't embarrass yourself when you play against us.
Exactly.
I feel like this is getting dangerous now.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Actually, it'd be dangerous for physical danger if we were out on the
But
court.
these fundraising things are important because, as we alluded to earlier, there's not enough money from the state or federal level or from the county level. There's just not enough that they can give to do what you guys do. So it's important that businesses and individuals contribute right in any way possible that they can.
Exactly, and we will accept any type of support. We also have a lot of generous community members who show up every single day with in-kind donations, items that we need for our shelter, but also for our clients who are not in our shelter. We work with a lot of people through our counseling program, our support group programs. We run a legal program where people can get assistance if they're involved in the criminal or the civil judicial processes. And the support that we receive, we give out to everybody. But it is crucial. Our requests for services continue to increase.
Really?
There's a lot of violence that's happening in this community. And it's not just physical violence, it's also the emotional, it's the threatening behavior, the intimidation. And so whatever we can do to kind of come together and help with that, we appreciate that.
What does that look like in terms of the increase? Hopefully, right? There's education and there's, it begins to decline.
You would like to think so.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think over the years, you saw the Me Too movement. I think that prompted a lot of people to finally, step up and speak about their experiences that they'd had previously. But I think there's also just more, I think there's both more things happening, but I think people are also finding the courage more to speak up about it and speak out against it. And that results in, we see that on our helpline. We field about 500 calls on our 24-hour helpline every single month.
Wow.
Well, this is frustrating because this should be a problem we shouldn't have to fight, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like this should be, the whole organization should be gone because people should just treat people respectfully, right? That's what's frustrating is that we're not wasting money fighting problems that people should just be able to control their emotions and understand.
In a perfect world.
Yeah, in a
Right.
perfect world, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I think you speak to respect, you speak to healthy relationships, you speak to people just treating each other with dignity, not trying to be in control of another person, not trying to exert that control through physical violence or sexual violence. I think you're right. I mean, yeah, I shouldn't be here. This agency should have never existed in the first place, yet here we are.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it seems silly to say I'm working myself out of a job because here
That
I
would
am.
be a good thing.
It would be a good thing. Realistically, I don't know how long
Yeah.
that's going to take.
Well,
But in the meantime,
unfortunately, it's going to take a while.
but in the meantime, you're doing what you can.
We do. We have an incredible staff that show up every single day to make sure that survivors' needs are met, that the phone calls are answered, that we can, give out the items that they need, make sure that they have a safe space to heal and to process. And I'm incredibly proud of what we do every single day.
You should be. You guys do a great job.
How did you find yourself in that leadership role?
So I've actually been with SafeHouse going on 17 years. As I said, when we first came here, I kind of looked around to see, what would be a good fit, and I started volunteering there. And so I also want to give a big shout out to all of our fantastic volunteers because we couldn't do this work without them. They help us run our 24/7 programs. And that's where I started. And then within 6 months, a position opened up, and I sat as a legal advocate supporting clients through the judicial process for about 7 years. And then I also jumped into a leadership position at that point, took over the running of that program as well as our 24-hour response teams where we work closely with law enforcement and the medical professionals in this community.
Right.
And I sat in that for another 8 years, I think it was. And then in July of 2022, I stepped into the role of executive director, and here we are. So yeah, it's been a journey for sure.
Yeah. But there's been a lot of leadership. I mean, I can imagine even at the beginning as a volunteer, you probably.
I mean, as soon as I started working at SafeHouse, I knew that this is kind of where I wanted to be and make my career. I feel very passionate, as you can probably hear, about the work that we do and the need for it as well. And it's been my privilege to serve this community in all of my roles throughout these last 17 years.
That's a powerful statement.
I was going to ask you, you've been involved with the group for so long. You're an insider, right? You get the top spot there. Was there anything that surprised you or anything that threw you off when you're now running as the top dog?
I think, honestly, the thing that surprised me the most, kind of going back to what you were saying in terms of we shouldn't have to have these conversations about why violence is not a good thing. And it surprises me sometimes that people push back on why we're here and why we need to be here. I think we're still dealing with a lot of stigma around domestic violence and sexual assault. I think there still continues to brew a lot of victim blaming in the conversations that we sometimes find ourselves in, and that is a little mind-boggling to me.
Doesn't it kind of piss you off, though, that when you talk about stigma, like the person that's having the violence put on them, they feel the stigma. The stigma should be on the idiot that is inflicting that, right?
Exactly.
How do we change it?
I think by having these conversations, right? But I think it's about acknowledging, why are we so focused on victim behavior versus perpetrator behavior? And I think that goes back to a lot of our conversations that we have with our young children as well. So we have to start young to have conversations about healthy relationships. How do we treat each other with respect, with dignity?
But in the greater, it just seems like there's more outside of your realm, but there's more victim discussions, in other things where people are not taking responsibility, self-responsibility, and blame.
Absolutely. I mean, nobody wants to be told that what they're doing is not right. I get that. But what you're doing is not right, and you need to check yourself on that. And so if you can't check yourself, then who does it? And I think that's where, as a community, it's important when we come together, such as in our partnerships with other community partners or our breakfast, to show that we're saying this is not okay. And you should be standing with us in that conversation.
Right. Well, deep thoughts.
Well, that excludes me.
Yeah.
I'm shallow. That's what Les tells me all the time.
Yeah,
Christina, can you believe that?
No, I appreciate it. And it is a heavy topic. I get that, right? And I think that's also why people shy away from talking about it, because it feels like if we have to talk about it, now we have to find solutions, and sometimes that can seem very overwhelming. And I try to just start very small and be like, let's just have a conversation.
Yeah.
That's
so as director, and so you've taken over the role, right? What are some of your initiatives? What are some of the things you're looking to accomplish?
really just get the message out there that we're here, that we serve all of Washtenaw County. We're not just, for one pocket of the county. We are here for the whole community. We're also here for all survivors. As I said, it doesn't matter how you identify in your gender, sexual orientation, race, culture, language. And that's another great thing. We are able to pull down a lot of those barriers. If you show up and you speak Danish, I can talk to you. If you show up and speak another language, we can find somebody either on staff or on the phone who can speak with you. So I think that is my initiative, being out in the community, making sure that people understand who we are, what we do, and how we can be helpful to you. I see us as a gap filler. This is really all about getting out into the community and filling the gaps of whoever else is there.
Right. Okay. So are there some of the things that you're doing maybe a little more unique now than maybe in the past in terms of getting the message out?
Probably not. I mean, it doesn't seem very original, but I think we're more engaged in the community, or we're trying to be. Again, like I said, really just get out there, having these conversations, showing up in all kinds of spaces. I will go wherever anybody invites me to have this conversation, or just be, because sometimes it's not about me talking, it's about me listening and trying to figure out what is it that the community really needs. So we try to do a lot of that as well.
Got it. We'll see how we can help with that.
Yeah. Well, Tom Harrison drank all our bourbon, so we don't have any bourbon to talk about at the end of the show. But how could she close it out? Maybe you could say in Danish,
Oh, goodness.
who in the heck signed me up to talk to these bumbling idiots?
Well, I'm hoping that maybe you will have I'll have some fellow Danes sitting out there. All right, what can we say? I'll say something, and I'll make sure that it's not rude in case somebody puts it in Google Translate. Jeg vil gerne sige tusind mange tak, fordi jeg måtte komme her i dag og snakke om noget, som er rigtig vigtigt for mig og for det samfund, vi bor i. I skal have så mange tak for det.
I appreciate you saying that about me.
You're welcome.
So earlier when we were talking about the bourbon, you said you were a tea drinker.
I am a little bit. I'm partial to the tea, yes.
But did you pick that up in England, or did you have that when you were growing up?
Nope, that is actually something I picked up in Denmark. We are big tea drinkers.
Are you?
Yeah, my mom, she drinks it by the gallons every single day.
Is
Your
the
what?
My mom.
Well,
My mom.
Is the customary afternoon with the crumpets?
Oh gosh, no, that's for the British side of my
It's the
family.
British. Okay,
yeah.
got it.
In Denmark, you just get up in the morning and that's when you have your first cup of tea, and you typically put a lot of milk in it as well, and then you just
Really?
carry on throughout the whole day.
Cold or hot?
Oh, hot.
Hot tea.
Absolutely.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, cold tea is not really a thing.
hot tea with cold milk, huh?
I know.
Hmm. Oh,
Yeah.
it's the best.
I'll take your word for it.
Yes, absolutely. I think Christine's been fascinating to get to know you a little bit better today.
I appreciate the time and the space. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity and for introducing yourselves. It's been fun.
Yeah, we'll do everything we can to help you out.
Thank you
you.
for your hard work, and
Yes.
more importantly, thank your volunteers for what they do every day. Because you said it earlier, but I mean, it takes all of them to do that, and it's an important mission over there.
It is, and I can't say. Sometimes I feel like thank you is such a small word, or two words, I guess, and it never can fully encompass the gratitude that we have, that I have. As they say, it takes a village, and
Yeah.
it takes a community, and we are incredibly blessed with a great community.
You know what they say about Les and I? They always say the village is missing one.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like you did your bit today, so you're all right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.